Hi, everyone. Can y'all hear me? Hi, everybody. Can you guys hear me?
I can hear you.
Yay! How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Yeah, good.
I think I've got most people muted. So if I know that somebody can hear me, that's all that I really care about, because more than likely everybody else can hear me.
You gotta fight.
I can hear you.
That's crazy.
Awesome.
If you give up every time you have a fight with someone, you'd never be with anyone longer than. Oh.
We're going to give it just a few more minutes. If you want to, those of you that are already in here, I've already put several links in, and I also have a PDF that you're welcome to click on. You can wait and do it now, or you can do it later. I'm going to also be sharing my screen, so that's completely up to you.
Welcome to an adult relationship. We're in a relationship.
What show are you watching?
Oh, hey, Monica. I heard you got on strong to your convention. Yeah, I'm waiting for an elevator. Where your eyelash will this come off.
Can everybody get to the chat so that you can see the links that were dropped in? Will you guys check that for me, please?
Way better.
But I thought she had music.
And y'all found the links also, correct? Yes.
Yeah. I don't see any links.
When you go to chat, I put them at the top. So now that everybody's coming in, it's going to travel to the top. I don't mind putting them in the bottom when we're done again also. Y'all get my scary face today, just FYI. It's frightening over here.
Huh? There's Tandy. There's Lair. When I talk about Lair, that's Lair. Right here.
Hey, Richard, this is Kim. Hello. Hello.
Okay, guys, I am going to mute you just for the beginning of this, and then hopefully We'll have plenty of time for Q&A. There's a lot of people on this call. I'm expecting 70. I don't know if that many will show up. We'll see. I just want to kind of go ahead and get started. To be honest, this, I'm afraid, may or may not be great for everybody that's in attendance, because the problem is we've got people all over the place as far as where you are with using Seesaw. So basically, I wanted to share the links. I've sent out the email. One of the things I wanted to go to make sure that I do today is to get those of you that are just starting, that have no idea how to get going. We got to get you guys going. And then the next week, or maybe even tomorrow, we'll see how it goes. I may have individual groups just like this in smaller groups and try to do ability levels, because some of you are going to be ready to move on with something else that somebody is not. So the screen that I'm sharing with you right now is actually this is what I used when I made all the videos. The links that I referred to at the beginning are all here at the top. If you go to chat, they're all at the top. I put in the important links. I've got a Wakelet that I created. I've got the SSISD home learning page. I've got the Seesaw help page. Just FYI, we're not 100% sure if I'm on the plan for Zoom that allows more than 40 minutes. So if we get cut off at 40 minutes, I want you to know that I went ahead and scheduled one for 3:45 that we can pick right back up. And the link is up here at the top. However, if we get cut off at 40 minutes and we've still got people having questions, then I will email this link out, and you can go, and just the ones that need it can get back on. Does that make sense to everybody? And y'all can use thumbs up, thumbs down, or whatever. I'm hoping everybody's in. Can everybody hear me? Let me make sure I've let everybody in.
You've got 67 people in right now, Janelle.
Okay.
I had something I was going to say. Golly, what was it? Something you just talked about.
Okay, Michelle Wallace is calling me. I don't know what she's wanting, but I'm not going to be able to take it right now. She's probably wanting in. John, do you think you can text her and just ask her if that's what she's wanting?
Yeah, I will check with her.
Okay.
I'll also try to keep an eye on the chat for you a little bit here, Janelle.
Okay, perfect.
I just want to say real quick, thank you all for being here. And like Janelle's already worded to you, it's going to be tough. Oh, I know what I was going to ask. Janelle, have you started the recording yet for this?
Yeah, it started automatically. Yes,
Okay,
it's going.
perfect. Perfect. I'll say this too. I know some of you won't hear this, but if you have sound issues where you can't hear anymore, or you can't see a screen anymore, then you're going to probably need to restart your computer, because usually what happens is you just have to restart that for some reason. Also, you need to mute your microphones because there's still several of you, and I think I can actually, I'm going to go through and mute them for you maybe. Nope, I don't have that ability to. But anyway.
I had them all muted at one time. I'll mute them again, but I do have where it allowed participants to unmute themselves, because I do want you guys to unmute yourself when it's time to ask a question. So I'm going to mute everybody now, and then if you need to ask a question, just unmute yourself. Does that make sense? Okay. John, you can unmute. You go ahead and unmute yourself now.
I don't need to. I'm going to let you talk. I'm just going to be here to try to help in the chat. If I see something big, I'll chime in and interrupt you. But
okay.
Otherwise, you just get going. And like you said, this is going to be a basic start, but we'll be around to get you guys more follow-up stuff over the next, day and a half here. But again, don't stress. This is something you've got time. Okay. If you're not exactly ready Monday or Tuesday, even, you're okay. You will be fine. We will have time to get you going. Don't worry about it. I promise. All right, Janelle, have fun.
Okay. All right. So basically, I thought about doing a poll, and I think what I'm just going to do, I can't really decide who is where. So I'm coming at this meeting, this original meeting, with the expectation that you need it from the beginning. If you don't need it from the beginning, I hope it's not a waste of your time. But one of the things that would be really beneficial is that you listen to how I'm telling everybody else this. If you use it all the time with kids and you're like, hey, that's actually the longest way to do it, or let me tell you what we do, it would be great. And then later in meetings, or if we get together in a team or whatever, we can clarify that. It might help for you to hear how I'm telling everybody in case I'm crazy. I tried to do as much research as I could, but I don't have kids. So it could be that I'm just not saying it correctly. Okay, so I've kind of divided my lessons or my videos that are on the SSISD page into 3 main categories. I've got just getting started, another one is current user, and then the other group of videos I've got are ready for more. So basically just getting started is what we're going to go through today. A lot of you, I understand, already use Seesaw with your kids. And right up front, I need to clarify about these home learning codes, because I know that that's confusing. One of the reasons it's confusing is because on the Seesaw page, right up in the front, one of the things that it says is, hey, if you have Clever, you won't need the Seesaw codes. So I get that that's confusing. What they're referring to is if you have Clever, like if we have Seesaw rostered through Clever, which we do not. So just ignore that. And we're going to have to actually use these Seesaw codes, home learning codes. Don't even pay any attention to that about, we are not using Clever with Seesaw. Normally, your kids would get on with the entry code, scanning the code to get in. So please also know Seesaw prefers that you not get the children on that way. And let me tell you why. Especially with young elementary age, primary elementary, it's a huge privacy issue to get parents in to classes that have work, even if it's lighter work, even if it's not, I know that this is not regular schoolwork, but the privacy issue is still there. So we're trying to make it so that in every class, when these kids are working from home, parents and families only have access to that child's journal. So that is the reason that the Seesaw home learning codes are so important. When they use those codes to scan and enter into the Seesaw class, your existing class, you don't have to change classes at all. But when they use that, it auto changes the settings so that that is turned off, and it only allows that student's portfolio to be showing to the family members. So hopefully that clears that up. In a minute, we're going to go through and I'm going to show you kind of what I'm talking about as far as the home learning code. Some of you have already been in and looked at it, and that's great. Okay, so let's start from the beginning. If you're just starting, there are actually 2 main websites that you need to know about. web.seesaw.me, which I'm showing on the screen, is where you're going to go, and it would actually take you to the landing page that you would log in. And this is actually what that looks like. Looks just like this. So of course, you're just going to go sign up for free. If you already have an account, disregard that and go to log in, okay? Those of you that are just starting, you're going to fill this information out. I do want you to notice, because this will come into play later, this is create account, this is sign in. This is a little confusing when you start doing co-teachers, which we're also going to talk about. You want to click create an account, you want to fill this out and do it that way. I don't believe that there is any need to verify your information. I think that it will actually just let you go ahead and create your class. It does send you an email, but you don't have to go to the email to verify it. So the next thing you're going to do then, of course, is type in your name. One of the things I mentioned in the video, this name is going to be the name that your kids associate with you. So you don't probably want to put your first and last name here. You're going to put Mrs. Smith or whatever your kids are going to recognize as you, okay? And then, of course, your grade level. Very quickly, those of you that select pre-K, K, first, second, and third, your students are going to show up as icons or avatars, little symbols, emblems. Those of you that do 4 through other, your kids will show up as initials. Not that that matters. I've just had people wonder what the difference is. That's the difference. Pre-K through third are little icons. Fourth and up are initials, okay? When you get into your class, this is what it's going to look like. Very, very simplistic. There's just a few little things you have to remember. This wrench is your lifeline to setting up your settings in your class. So wrench equals settings. When you do that, and one of the things I wanted to cover today are best practices as far as settings, because especially now we need to make sure that our settings are correct for home learning. The very first thing you're going to want to do probably is maybe customize your settings. This is purely what it looks like. You can pick a color here. You can also choose this and it will take you straight into an avatar, like where you can pick your little emblem. That's important to some kids, so by all means do that. The next thing that we're going to talk, and I didn't go too much into that. The next thing that it's really, really important, if they sign in with the class codes, this setting is done automatically. However, I'm sorry, not this setting. Sorry, no. This is when you first sign up. It's going to ask you what kind of sign-in mode that you want. I mean, it pops up in your face and it says, hey, do you want your kids to sign in with a code, as one-to-one devices, or with email? You want your kids to sign in one-to-one. So be sure that you click that when it gives you that message. When you do that, it's going to give you this little warning symbol that says, hey, changing this to one-to-one will do this to your kids, and it doesn't matter. Say yes, that's what you want. Confirm that change if it's not already like that. The next one that you're going to have, and I need to move this out of the way so I can see. Oh, gracious. Not what I wanted. The manage students part, this is where you're going to actually load your students in. And I want you to, I'm sorry, do what? Oh, I thought John was saying something. I want you to know that you've got two options. When you click manage students, you can just start typing your kids' names in right here. And again, this is for people that do not have already kids in their classes. If you don't want to do that, you can also paste the list of student names. So, and all that does is it takes you to a page that looks kind of like this. Let me see. I'm making sure that I just lost that screen. Hang on one second. I lost the screen that tells me if somebody's waiting to get in. John, can you see that? Oh, I found it. There's people that are coming in late and I'm trying to get them. Okay. So basically this is the screen. You're just going to copy and paste those kids and put them straight in there. If you want to just type them, perfectly fine. You don't necessarily need last names, because even if you have a child that has the same first name, you can just put a last initial, or they're only going to have one kid in that class anyway, so it really doesn't matter. Okay, so here's an example of the icons that I was telling you about. Don't worry if you have kids that has more of the same exact icon, it doesn't matter, because they're only going to see theirs on their end. If you want to click this little caret menu, that's completely fine. You can do that and change them. That's up to you. Again, that's just kind of aesthetics. Okay, recommended settings. This is the one that I wanted to be sure and go over for everybody. There are privacy concerns about families using student posts and work, especially under the situation that we're in right now. So basically, when you go into class settings, and again, I'm in the wrench, you will have these options. This right here that says students can see each other work must be turned off. Normally, when you're in the classroom setting, that would be on. We're going to make sure that's turned off. I think, and I'm almost positive, when they log in with the home learning codes, it auto turns this off, but I'm still making sure that everybody goes in and checks their settings to turn that off. The new items require approval. That I like for sure on. I mean, what that's doing is it's allowing you to see what the kids are putting in before. Of course, other kids aren't going to be able to see it anyway, but still a good idea to have that on so that you can approve it before it goes in. Okay, enable item editing. I'm a fan of turning it on. A lot of teachers don't like it on. And let me just tell you what that allows. If your kids do an activity and they forgot to do something. So what happens is they're going to do something, a post or an activity, it's going to go to you, right? They're going to turn it in when they add it to their journal. So what happens is if that's turned off and you want them to finish it or redo it, if that's turned off, they don't have the option under their 3-dot menu to go back in and finish that or go back in and edit that. If that's turned on in your settings, that allows the kids to just click on the 3 dots right underneath their name and it'll say edit. And then they could just go in and edit that item. There's some drawbacks to that. I feel like I'm just going to leave it there. If you have problems with kids editing other kids, which they shouldn't be able to, I don't think on this, but you can always go in and turn that off. Enable sample student definitely needs to be on. This allows you to be able to experience what it looks like for your kids as a student without logging as a student. So leave that on. This down here. All right, let's talk about family access. I would love for families to be connected through your Seesaw. I've always wanted that. A lot of teachers were not comfortable with that. But here's the deal. This is almost not necessary now because what's happening is families are connected through to the blog, or I'm sorry, to their portfolio through just by simply having the kid have access to it at home. If you turn this on, that enables you to invite families, which means families would have to use the family app, or they would have to log in as a family member instead of a student. But as it is right now with the kids doing all of this at home, families can see everything anyway. So I hope that makes sense with what I'm talking about. You can do that if you want to, but it's almost repetitive because they're going to be able to see everything they would and more than they would as a parent. Okay. The next thing that we're going to go to, wait, what is this? Oh yeah. Okay. This is what it looks like when the student, okay. So 2 ways, and I'm going to get out of this for a moment and I want to go in to my Seesaw class and show you what I'm talking about with the home learning codes. Okay. So here's my demo class. Can you guys see this demo class? Yes. John, shake your head if you can see the demo class. Okay, so right here up at the top, it has using Seesaw for home learning. They just put this shortcut right here. When you click on this, what's going to happen is well, you don't need to look at mine because I've got 9 million Seesaw classes right now, but I think it's the demo Seesaw class. You got 2 choices. You'll only have your class. You can do print codes or download codes. Here's the difference. Print codes are going to give you a combined PDF with an invitation letter for each child that could go to their parent. This has the instructions. It's only listed at the top. But each parent, so this is Carmen's home learning code, right? It tells the parent that they can go here and then they can scan this, or they can put this code in. It's a 12-digit code. Here's the deal. I've already had several people ask me, well, how do we send this home? Okay, so because it's all one, you can split them. The other option, and I literally just did a video that gives you the 3 ways that you can send this home through email. You can also do the print to PDF option, and that is in the video. I'm not going to show it here, but you just go to printer and do print to PDF custom, and then whichever your kid's sheet is, name it that child, and then you can send that as an attachment in an email. The other option to me that's really simple, and I know that this link won't be clickable doing it this way, but if you just want to use your snipping tool and take a picture of this and send it as an attachment, as an image to your parents, to me, that would be really, really simple. They can't click on this, but who cares? Surely they can read app.seesaw.me. So basically, now when your kids get their iPads, and I'm assuming, I know that the district is talking about ways to do that, but if they're on a mobile, then basically they could still go there, or they're just going to download the Classroom app We have to make sure that parents don't go in and get the parent app, the class app. And when they do that, they'll just click, I'm a student. It looks just like this right here. And then they can scan this code, or they can put the home learning 12-digit code in. So I'm going to stop for 1 second at the end of that. And I want you guys to let me know, are there questions about what we've talked about up until now? John, are you kind of looking at the chat board? You can drop it in the chat, or you can unmute yourself and ask it for the group, because someone else might be needing that also. I'll wait just a minute.
The only thing right now, at least in the chat, is just people that are having some sound issues, but I'll be quiet in case some of them have a quick question here.
Okay. So I'm hoping that that kind of makes sense about the need to send the home learning codes and the and how to send those home.
Okay, so a couple questions coming in. Do we need to wait till Monday to send the home codes? We're going to send out information from a district standpoint to all the families on Monday. So yes, we'd kind of prefer you to wait, have all your stuff ready, kind of be ready to go, but let's let the district send out that initial wave to families so that they hear about it. I'm not going to tell you can't send something home, but it just opens up you guys, which I'm sure you're already getting a jillion questions anyway, but that makes it easier on you guys not to have to go and try to field a bunch of questions that are going to come in after that. As far as what happens if parents are not in our class, tag or remind, I'm concerned with parents not getting my email with the link and the QR code. Again, in theory, and again, theory is not always well or not always good, but they should have some contact information in Skyward. We will be sending on Monday an internet survey link, and I don't know for sure right now if phone was one of the things we put on there. I'm gonna have to double check that, but we will try to get a phone number and an email address from that survey too. Now, again, if they don't have internet access and they're not communicating with you already, that may not be helpful, but we will work on trying to do that. There may be some people that just get lost. It's gonna happen. And then one last one, I'm a counselor. Can I use this for school-wide guidance? I'm gonna let Janelle answer that. And then we'll get back to these questions again here in a few minutes.
Carrie, I'm assuming that you're talking about creating a class for teachers or students? For students, maybe?
Well, I mean, I was thinking for students, is there any way to reach all the kids in my school through this, or do I need to look at something different?
Well, really, that would be pretty difficult, because you would have to have every child in as a student.
Yeah, see, when you said that, I kind of went, I don't think this is going to work.
And I think there's a cap anyway of 100 students because we're using the free version. So I don't think that would probably be your best bet. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Okay. So moving along, I'm going to go back to my PDF where I was, and we're going to try to so I'm hoping that all of the questions for that have been answered. Wait, whoops, where's my PDF? Sorry. No. Sorry, guys, I'm trying. John, is there any way I can get rid of this thing that's in my way or move it to the bottom? No?
What is it that's in your way?
This thing up at the top that has all of my, let me see if I can, oh, I can move it. Look at that. Okay, never mind.
We're new to Zoom too. You're getting to see us play with technology, and you're not always great with it either right from the start.
This is my first time, so, okay. All right, so moving on. The next thing we're going to talk about, I did also make a couple of videos, and I've still got some more that I'm planning on making that's going to be helpful for parents. I'm calling it the student experience. So what it is like, as a student, how would they navigate Seesaw? Because our kids are small, and so it's really not for the students. A lot of them are going to be for the parents. But so just look for that on the playlist. And again, the playlist is linked at the top. It just says student experience. So any of them that say that, you'll know that that is something that the parent might use to navigate this online world to help their child. Okay. Okay. So when it's time for a student to go to log in, the other important link is app.seesaw.me. seesaw.me. So remember the other one was web. You can get to this one, but this takes them directly to the login site. They would then click I'm a student. It's same thing on the iPad. It'll say I'm a student. It has little pictures of kids on there, and then boom, they're in. So as a teacher, of course, you would go here. Okay, yeah, I was just fixing to say the other important thing that I've had a lot of questions about are co-teachers. So hopefully this is going to answer a lot of the questions that we had about co-teachers. In SSISD, and I created an entire video that is just labeled co-teacher. So it would be great if you could watch that. But very quickly, let me give you the rundown about why I feel like it's important for you guys to have co-teachers with your classes. Those of you that have already been rocking and rolling with Seesaw, a lot of you have already been doing this, sharing in teachers. If you're just getting started, you still make your own Seesaw account. And what I mean by that is you're going to put all of your homeroom students into your Seesaw class, right? Then when you go to the wrench, which I showed you earlier, and this is what it looks like under the wrench. It'll say class settings. And then right here where it says manage teachers, if you click on that, it takes you to this screen. This is where, so if you have Miss Smith and Miss Johnson, and Miss Smith is math and Miss Johnson is reading, Miss Smith is going to create her class and have all her kids in there. Miss Johnson is going to create her class and have all her kids in there. Miss Smith is going to send Miss Johnson, her co-teacher, an invite right here where it says teacher email address, right? Send invite. Miss Johnson is going to do the exact same thing, except she'll send Miss Smith a teacher email. So what is happening here is you've got, that way you have access to both groups of your kids. However, the kid is not having to sign, because my greatest concern, and I mean, if you have one student in a household with two teachers and they're having to sign back and forth, that's not that big a deal. I get that. However, in my head, I'm thinking, what if you have 3 kids in a household, right? They each have 2 teachers each. They're having to go back and forth and share devices. So to me, if we can make it as easy as possible and have these kiddos only have to sign in and out as few times as possible, that's one plus. The other advantage of doing this, and we talked about this in our meetings, is that say one teacher gets sick or has a family member that gets sick or is unable to keep up with the classwork, then what you have is when you are co-teachers, the other teacher then is familiar, can see what's been going on, can communicate with these kids since they know them anyway from school. So my suggestion is for everybody to share co-teachers. That doesn't mean you have to scrap your class that you already have. It just means you create your class, send an invite to your co-teacher, they create their class, send an invite to their co-teacher. Now, what I will tell you, there's been some problems in the past with this. And if you look right here where it says, you'll put this in, click invite, right under here where it says current teachers, if you only have your name listed, then you're the sole teacher in your class. If you have your name listed and your co-teacher listed right here, then you've already done this. So I wanted to tell you that you can check that. Now, the co-teacher gets an email, right? I have had experience with this that it goes to clutter or it goes to junk or whatever. So if they can't find it and you're sure you sent it to the correct email address, like you didn't type it in wrong or anything, then they just need to search. They can go to search Seesaw or go to clutter and see if they can find it. Generally, that's what's happened in the past. Once they click on that, they're just going to open it and click on right here where it says join class. When they join the class, this is what I wanted to show you guys. At the beginning of last year when we were setting all these up, what would happen is a teacher would invite their co-teacher, they would join the class, and this window pops up right here. Very confusing, and I get that because you're thinking, oh, okay, I'm going to sign up as a teacher. So teachers were going in and they were filling this out and clicking create a teacher account, and it was causing a big old huge giant mess. So basically this would be if you wanted to start it. Ideally, if you're already sharing and inviting co-teachers, you already have an account. So you would just click on this sign in right here. And that's what I did over here so that you can see. When you do that, Seesaw just wants to know who to connect this co-teacher with. So you're going to put in your email, your password like you would get into Seesaw. And then you get this message right here. Your teacher, whatever the other teacher has invited you to become a teacher of this class, would you like to accept? This is what you want to see, this green, you're going to say yes. Then it immediately goes to great, you are now our teacher in demo class, you click go to your class. When you do that, boom, you're in there. And what it looks like, and I think that I have an example, let me see if I can find it. So right here, these things are in my way. Under managed teachers, right here, Joe and I are in this class together, and you can see how we both are. And what this looks like for a student, and I've already tried it this morning as a student, the kid doesn't care or know. The child simply sees their folder right here. The teacher is the one then that can see all the work that they're assigning and all the work that the co-teacher is assigning. So I'm going to stop again for 2 or 3 minutes and make sure that the co-teacher thing is clear, or if we have any questions for that.
Janelle, let me throw a couple things out here that have come in.
Okay.
If you remind me if listener heard you right the other day, they can only have one co-teacher in their class.
That's correct. With the free version, since we are in the free version, you can only do one other co-teacher.
Now, do you know in the paid version what's available in that?
10.
Off the top of your head? How many?
10.
Okay. I'm not going to promise anything, but I'll visit and see if there's any way that maybe this spurs on.
I will tell you this, John, y'all look up here, just look at my screen for 1 second. I just watched a webinar last night that told me this. When I go into my teacher thing and I go to the wheel and I go to account settings, I just wanted to show you this because I was just shown this last night. Do you see where it said, oh, it's not going to give it to me because I'm an ambassador. Darn it. There is actually a thing under here. Can I is somebody on this, in this call, do you have this open where you can go into your settings right quick?
Janelle, just for the sake of time, why don't we keep moving on this? We can address this.
Well, but this is actually, if they click, there's a button in here that says try Seesaw Plus for 60 days. If they click that button, they're going to get all of the 10 extra teachers and all of this stuff for 60 days. So I'm wanting somebody to try that. I just discovered that recently. But yes,
Amanda Higginbotham is saying that she has that.
Do what?
Amanda Higginbotham is saying that she has that.
Okay, so if she clicks that for 2 months, she's going to get all of that, and then that would allow more co-teachers. It would also allow more than 100 activities, which is some teachers have already run out.
I figure you would have heard anything if they were one of the many companies making some of that stuff free for people, but we'll check into that too and see if they have deals going right now.
Yeah. Okay. All right, so the next thing I'm going to go into just very briefly are just some of the ways that you can use Seesaw. The very first way that I want to look at is the add button. So if I click on add, as a teacher, you're going to see post-student work. This is one way you can communicate with kids. You literally can just go in here and you've got the option, and the kids have these exact same tools. They can take a picture, they can take a video, they can upload something from their iPad or their computer. They can go into notes and type a message. They can drop a link or do the drawing. The drawing tools are, I'm not going to go into all of these drawing tools. Honestly, there's a lot in here. These are just pretty self-explanatory. I will tell you that the 3 dots right here, make sure that they understand these are shapes and their backgrounds, which the backgrounds are pretty cool. Lots of stuff going in here. So I'm hoping that I'll make some Seesaw believers out of all this, but they can record. I love this, especially for little kids. they can actually record themselves, which would be great if they can't write or type. So this is the creative tools part of that, and I'm not going to spend too much time in that because this is supposed to be mostly teacher geared, but I wanted you to see that, and you probably just need to go in and play with that. The other thing that I do want to show you very quickly are the activities features. So this is how you're actually, and I'm not going to teach you how to build an activity. All I want you to know right now is how to search for an activity. So if you're new to Seesaw, just know that this right here, when you go to activities, go to Browse Activity Library, is an awesome way to do a short little teacher vetted. I mean, you still need to pay attention to what's going on. Don't just slap these in there without looking at them. But if I'm in, let's go to second grade, for example, and I am doing English language arts, and maybe I'm doing nouns, so I'm going to search for that. Then what happens is I've got all of these activities. They may not be great, but there's another video that I've made that shows you also how to edit these. But like if you decide you want to make one of these, you're just going to click on it. You're going to click the heart. The heart is actually going to allow you to add this to your library. So I'm going to click the heart, which mine was already in there. I'm going to go to my library. You can assign it without putting it in your library. You could just click assign, but I want to show you what it looks like from here. If you like it the way it is, perfect. All you have to do is click assign and find your class. So I'm going to go to my demo Seesaw class. You don't even have to assign this to all the students. You could actually, if you click edit students right here, you have the option of maybe sending, if you've got some high flyers in your class and you want to send them some things that are a little, I don't know, expect a little more, you can do that. I think we are trying to keep most of this pretty consistent though. So you may, I mean, that may be later, but I do want you to know that this feature is here, that you can select which members you want to have that. I'm just going to keep it for everybody and assign to one class. So basically it is in my class now. If I wanted to go back to class, I can see that the kids would actually go to this activity section, and this is what it looks like for them. So whenever they get ready to go in and do the activity, they click add response. It looks just like this for them. They're going to follow the directions. There is a button up here at the top that allows them to view instructions. One of the cool things about this is you can also record yourself reading these instructions, which to me, for non-readers, would be amazing. You're just going to read these out loud. That is not going into how you can edit your own activities or create your own activities. I'm not going into that because this is beginner. So I just wanted you to know how to search for them, find them, and assign them to students. Okay? And I think that covers that pretty well. The other thing I wanted to be sure and touch on was how you can communicate with families at home. So right here where it says, and you can actually click the add button, you've got an option under add button that says send announcement. So if I click that, basically you have a drop down caret. You can send this to, somebody else is coming in. I can send this to only students, all family members, which honestly, again, this is null because where your family members would normally be connected through a family app, they're now really connected through the student app. So to be safe, you could just click all students and family. So when you do that and then you type your instructions, whatever you want them to know, your note or whatever, you can also add an attachment here and you send it. And what's going to happen is then they have a notification over here that, hey, your teacher has sent you a message. Parents can read this message. There's lots of ways they can reply back to you. They can comment. Kids are not going to be commenting on each other, remember, because they only have themselves in there, but communication between you and the students probably needs to carry on. So these are just some examples of some of the things that I've put as announcements. Does that make sense as far as communicating with family members as announcements? Any other questions, John?
No, again, we got a couple that are losing sound, and I've said in there a few times, we're recording it, so we will get this on the website.
Yes.
There have been a couple, what I'm going to call advanced questions
Okay.
about what's going to
Yeah.
happen and how am I going to see the assignments and how's it going to work with me and my co-teacher, seeing each other's assignments and things like that.
Yeah.
That we'll do in another webinar, either tomorrow or early next week. And then remember that the link has all the videos that Janelle's worked on over the last couple of days that are specifically addressing kind of all the things that you're going to have questions on.
Yeah, and actually all of these things that I've talked about are already in a video, and the nice thing about it is you can slow it down, look at it, pay attention to what you're doing, stop it, fix yours. So I highly suggest that you use those videos also, just as a reminder that they're actually on the SSISD website under, John, what's it under? I forgot. What's the banner?
It's under distance learning. I just dropped it in the chat here a minute
Okay,
ago.
good.
It's linked off of the homepage. It says digital learning on the homepage. But
Oh,
it takes
digital
you
learning,
to the
yeah.
right thing. Real
Okay.
quick, a couple
Yeah.
people bringing up a question that we know we need to talk about too.
Okay.
So the welcome message that Lisa mentioned that everybody needs to start sending out with their people. There's lots of ways you can do that. We're not locking you into one specific thing there. If you've used Flipgrid before and you've already got a grid and you wanted to put something out there on that because you know your teacher or your students and parents know how to use that, you can use that. If you want to use Seesaw, this would be, yes, to answer your question, a great way for you to send the welcome message. You don't need any other tool than Seesaw to do all the work you're going to do over the next few weeks. I'm also going to be creating a video as soon as I can get time to not be answering other questions. That's just another tool that's available that's really easy to go onto your computer, click a Chrome extension, and you record the video and get a link, and you could always send that out through your Remind or other ways that way. So we'll be giving you a few options. I will have a spot on that distance learning page that's linked off of our website that has specific things about how you can create your welcome message. So be on the lookout for that, hopefully by the time you wake up tomorrow morning. I will say this, we're getting to about 42 minutes now, which means we've made it to 40 minutes, which is good. But we do want to probably wrap it up in the next 10, 15 minutes. People digest what we have here. And then,
I honestly, I covered the main things that I wanted to cover for this. I wanted to show people how to get their kids in. I wanted to talk about those important settings. I wanted to talk about home learning codes, and I wanted to show you very quickly how to communicate and use activities. Those were my talking points for this, and I feel like I covered those. I will tell you, Seesaw is multi-layered. There's a lot more stuff in there. If I were you, I would just focus right now on some simple stuff, just getting kids set up. Remember next week, we're focusing on getting kids set up and making contact and maybe doing a little bit of a simple common activity with them. So don't feel rushed that you have to get all this done like this weekend, or, we would like you to make your classes this weekend, but communicate with me if you need help doing co-teachers. If you have somebody that's already using them, feel free to do that. I don't want anybody to feel panicked, and I hope you're not. And know that I don't mind helping. I can do it remotely. I can do it on the phone. Just let me know. John, did you want to mention about tomorrow? Were you going to do that?
Yes.
Okay.
Do you mind pulling up the district webpage right now, just so we can kind of show them where they'll go to make sure they get that information in case they haven't seen that?
Sure.
And while she's doing that, I'll talk to you here. Well, actually, I want to wait till the page comes up because that's what I'm talking about.
Ooh,
So
it's slow.
scroll down just below that COVID virus picture that we have where it says digital learning right there. Click on that. All right, so this brings you just to a quick landing page under the 4 teachers there, and the 4 families will be populated pretty quick tomorrow. So just be ready for that. Right there. So every day from 1 to 2 o'clock, and I'll tell you, I'm not the Seesaw expert, Janelle is, but from 1 to 2 o'clock, it's come and go. So you've got a question that's just too hard to email. then I'd really love for you just to consider dropping in from that 1 to 2 time slot. I'll record those. So anybody that does come in, I'll remind them, hey, this is recorded. So whatever you say is going to be seen, but we'll put those on the website as well. And then where you see the links right now for the Seesaw Basics training, that's where the link will be to the recording. We'll switch that out. The link to the meeting will change to the link to the recording. And then when we add other trainings, either tomorrow or Monday, those are going to show up right there too. But where it says meeting join link under the daily list, right in the middle of the page there. Yeah, right there. That's the link that any time, any day of the week, any weekday, let me say this right, any weekday in the entire time that we're out here over these 3 weeks, from 1 to 2 o'clock, that's where, and Janelle and Joe will join me at different times for that to help answer questions too. But you've got that question, you need it. Now, generally speaking, if it's troubleshooting, we'd like your troubleshooting, your device is acting goofy for whatever reason. That's a little different. We'd like that still to go through the help desk so that our tech crew can be working on those things, while we're working on videos and communicating with you about other stuff. But it's just that thing. You're like, I know I'm supposed to be putting this in an assignment, but I don't really know how to do that. And that's just a quick time for us to be able to help you out. Obviously, if we have 60 people sitting in there waiting in line for questions, that can, make that a little bit more complicated, but I really doubt that'll happen. So that's there. All of Janelle's videos that we were talking about are listed right there. It is going to change the look where you see that distance learning training for teachers drop down. I'm actually building it where all these videos are going to go into little drop down menus like that. So just know the page will look a little different when you wake up in the morning, but it's all still there, I promise. And then Janelle, if you'll go over to the families one, so that there's a link to that over on the left side.
Oh,
So
sorry. I was going back.
Monday,
Here.
yes. Well, you can go back, or there's buttons on the left side of it too, either way.
My chat was covering it up.
Oh, that's fine.
Okay.
So Janelle's already got some videos in here. Joe's working on videos as well. I don't know how many of his are populating here yet, but I'll be cleaning this page up and it'll look a lot like the teacher one does. But we'll have videos that are going to help walk your parents and your students through what the experience should look like for them. Again, our goal is to have all that up by Monday, because that's when we know the letter's going out for them. But anyway, that's just there. I'm going to mention this too. As we do some of these things over the next couple weeks, I know that a lot of you guys have been reaching out to Lisa and to us and other people about your willingness to help. I can't say how much we appreciate that. And I know that some of you are power users, and you may not consider yourself a power user, but if you've been using this and communicating with parents and doing some activities, you're a power user. And it would be really awesome if we could tap into you guys a little bit, even if it's during some of these sessions that Janelle's doing and you're the one answering the questions in the chat. So if you're one of those power users, be sure to email Janelle and let her know, hey, I'm willing to help you specifically with this video stuff. And we'll start recruiting you for some of that on being able to join us in these calls, or even helping us man the chat and stuff during the 1 hour, 1 to 2 o'clock times period. If you need something else, if you feel like we're missing the boat somewhere in supporting you, then please let us know that too. I just have to stress to you again, next week, our goal is to get devices to kids, and our goal is to make sure that you have a chance to see your kids within that digital space. So for you guys within Seesaw, don't freak out about having to have a ton of assignments ready and everything else. You're looking at getting that one assignment so that hopefully we can start that process of our kids getting comfortable. So we've got all next week to help work out those kinks and make sure that you're comfortable and confident in what's going on. So you do not have to watch every single video and be a Seesaw master by tomorrow morning. I hope that helps you understand, kind of the dynamic of that. Now, we are all for you guys, going above and beyond like you always do, and being ready to send out that great lesson the first week, and being confident in communicating with your people and everything else. We'll open up the floodgates, so to speak, to let you do more and more, in the second week and then that third week. I'm going to kind of be quiet now because otherwise I'll talk forever. But did I miss anything that we had talked about earlier?
No, I really have covered what I wanted to cover today. There's probably tons of questions, and I see some stuff over here. It would be great, like if you guys have a question and I'm getting the same question 2 or 3 times, what I've been doing to address that is immediately make a screencast. I'm doing a video right then. If I get 3 or 4 or 2 or even 2 or 3 of the same question, I'm creating a screencast and I'm uploading it, and it will be on the website. So just know that I don't want you to not ask questions, because there may be other people that need that, and then I can make the video and somebody else going through the exact same thing will have that to watch. So, you know, we're going to have to conduct ourselves a little differently. It's going to be a lot of videos and virtual, but we'll get used to it slowly. Yeah, that's it. I'm good.
All right, I'm good, Janelle. You can end the meeting. She's going to end the meeting for everybody. You can start chiming out. Actually, before you do that though, Janelle, let's just stay on 5 minutes for anybody that either wants to come
Okay.
off of mute or ask
That's fine.
another question. But those of you that are ready to jump off, go ahead and get off and enjoy the rest of your evening.
Thank you guys for coming. I appreciate it.
So Amanda, on the co-teacher question, yeah, we'll do some more stuff here with co-teachers.
Hey, Amanda, have you, I'm curious, I'll go in and watch the co-teacher video that's on the website. I'm curious if that will answer everybody's questions. If it doesn't answer your question, then I'll make another one. But I did already create that video that's just called Co-Teachers.
Can you hear me, Janelle?
Yes.
What about us that are SPED teachers
Yeah.
and some of our students are dually enrolled? Do they need to be in that main teachers Seesaw? We have 2 accounts for them?
With us having free Seesaw account. Okay, so here's the deal. This actually may help you out with this question. If we can get the homeroom teacher to go ahead and accept the 60-day free trial, then what that will allow, boy, that will sure help that question that you asked. What that will allow is that she then can send you an invite into that class, and it will prevent those kids from having to sign in and out, and you making a separate class with only just a few kids. So, boy, I really wish that we could get that get over that hump, so that if whoever the teacher is, we just need to make sure that they know how to set up that 60-day free trial for that.
Yeah, Wendy, if you can hold off on trying to put them into your class, let us get them, have the homeroom teacher or the gen ed teacher get them into their class, and then let's see if we can either make the 60-day work, or if there's some way that Seesaw may open some of that up for us until
Mine
we can.
are actually divided between 2 teachers. I got 3 in each class.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. They could both send you a co-teacher invite. And the cool thing about it is when you're communicating with your kids, I don't know if you were whenever I was showing them earlier, but when you do an assignment, an announcement, whatever, you would just go in and select your 3 kids. Do you see what I mean? So it wouldn't really go to everybody, but it would be wonderful if we could get that going so that
I can tailor some just assignments for IEPs to
yes.
those individual kids.
Exactly. And it would be great. So we're going to try to get that set up. No, don't create a separate class. I think it'd be easier on the kid if we can get you into the homeroom teacher class.
Great question.
Yeah. Thank you. Chastity, did you have a question? Unmute yourself. Or you want me to?
Hi. I didn't see that you had sent the email code until just now.
Oh, no.
Sorry.
That's okay. We recorded it and we're going to upload this video, and you can just click. We'll send the link out. You can click on it and watch it.
Okay. That'd be great.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, I'd be cooking for you, whoever that is. The Eduforia register thing, you should, well, actually, we may have had it closed off after the registration. Make sure you email me, Lisa Robinson, and Whitney McCoy, and we'll make sure you get into it. One of us will. And then the question, Carissa, on contacted by a grandmother about having internet and computer connection. Yes, we know that we're going to have some people that are not going to be able to connect with you this way. And yes, we've got, ideas of things to do. We're really trying to get the masses up and running first, and then we'll start working on all the other information and getting that out to you guys. We're going to, have the potential to have to be sending some paper packets home, things like that. but we'll be working on getting that information to you guys. Right now, you just, when the survey comes back, as you know that you've got a kid that doesn't have internet, things like that, maybe if you can even fill it out for, because we're sending out a survey to people to say, hey, you know, need to use technology to tell us you don't have technology access. Doesn't make much sense. But you guys will know some of your students, and you can fill out that survey even for that too, or just email me and we'll get it added onto it. But we've got to get that list of students, and then we're working on plans, several different things to get information out to everybody. Another good question. And I be cooking. Okay, Sheila, glad to know that was you. Anybody else?
Anybody else have a specific question?
I do. Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Okay, so I know in the assignments, like on the students' side, when they click their tab, if they have not completed it, it stays in there, right? So should we like clear that out? You know, like once, I don't know, I guess I'm wondering how many do we leave in there? Because I don't want that to
Okay, so
be overwhelming, you know?
Yeah, so you mean going forward, I'm assuming.
Right,
Correct?
yeah.
Well, whenever they do an assignment and turn it in, it actually, let me show you something right quick. Here are my activities. So when they turn, are you talking about in their journal?
Right, well, so I know once they complete it, it will go away, right? But like right now, like kind of like yours, like we have it full of, you know, if 2 kids didn't do it, I guess it's still in their journal. Like, so do we need to like clear that out weekly maybe so they only see the current, or just let it pile up? Like,
well, I mean, I guess that's going to be up to you if you want to make sure that every child finishes it. But I mean, I know that in these times that's probably not going to be that big a deal. You have the power. You can just go in and delete the activity if you want to clean that out once a week or something. I see what you mean. The more recent ones actually go on top. So you know, even if they come to this and there's a bunch underneath it, the ones that you've recently assigned are going to stay at the top. I don't know that it would hurt for them to be, I mean, there's all kinds of junk down here, as long as they know. Yeah, and you would use announcements probably. Like on my announcements, that's one of the things that I did is just, I put in there, hey guys, this week I've dropped in this, and this. And I mean, that might be another way that you can draw attention to the fact that you've added a couple of activities or whatever. I think we're trying to get everybody to do that early in the week, like on Monday. So if we get them in the habit of looking on Monday, and then the rest of it can just be communication and touching base with them. Does that answer your question?
Yes, no, it does.
I think it's up to you. If you want to delete them, that's perfectly fine. Yeah.
Brittany, one thing to think about too is, you know, if you're doing 2 to 3 assignments per week after this first week, you know, as we get more flowing into it, if the other old assignments are there, some kids may only be able to, you know, they're going to go over to grandma's house on Tuesdays. And so that's the one day they have internet access because she has it, even though they don't have it at home. Then, you know, them having those old assignments, it might be a day where they go in and they do 4 or 5 assignments.
In one. Okay.
I don't know that it hurts to leave it in there, but if you find that your students are, you know, getting, I don't know what to do, and you're getting a lot of questions that way, you've got freedom to play in there however you want to.
Yeah.
Going along with that, I have a question. Is there a way that, like in Seesaw, we could organize the assignments in like folders? Like we could say week 1, 3, 23 through.
So yeah, folders is listed under my I'm ready for more topic. Folders are in here. Yes, it does not. Let me explain to you. In Seesaw, folders are it's just a glorified tag. So it's not like what we think about folders in OneDrive or on your computer. You don't physically put things in a folder. What it does is you can tag those with a folder color, and kids can also tag it with a folder color to mean different things. With Seesaw for Schools, you can schedule activities to come out and assignments on a certain day ahead of time. But what you're trying to say is like, hey, could we put and I'm assuming, do you mean like all one topic or one subject, or say that again?
Well, I mean, I think just organize it, like if with our co-teacher, like we could do it all by one subject, like
Okay.
ELAR,
So
social studies, and then my
to answer your
co-teacher.
question about that, yes.
Okay.
And I've actually worked with co-teachers doing this exact same thing. Basically, what you do is you go in and create a folder. You can have up to 10 folders, I think. When you do your folder color, you're going to say, okay, Miss Abear's folder color is yellow. Miss whoever your partner folder color is blue. You just can tell your kids,
Okay.
when you do that, I want you to drop it in the yellow folder or drop it in the blue folder. You can even do it further than that. Let's say you wanted to do all of your writing in red folders, all of your math work in blue folders. You just have to kind of train your kids. And until you get them trained, you also have the ability to tag the folder colors with the work. Does that make sense?
Yes, but
Okay.
okay, yeah.
Okay. I just didn't go into folders today, so yeah. Okay. Was there any other and there's other questions up here in the chat, John?
Yeah.
I think I may just go through those with the other things that I've got piled up, and I'll make notes and list, and then maybe try to address them with groups.
Yes, we can also put them on the frequently asked questions page that we've got started. So
Okay.
come up with ideas on that, things that you need to answer that you want to show up, because we're going to see those over and over. We'll add them there as well.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay, I'm going to
Sounds
answer
good.
this one. I'm going to answer this one too, even though they sent it to me privately, but it's a good
Okay.
question. There may be some others. They said our music teacher is going to be after classroom is settled. So we're going to have a space on the website,
Oh yeah.
the distance learning one, where we'll have opportunities for music and all the specials. I'll just kind of chunk it all into that for right now. The different specials groups to be able to post different things. We'll ask you guys to work with each other, and maybe that we do a K through 5 PE deal and a K through 5 music idea, and that we haven't totally ironed out the entire communication for how we want to do that yet. But we're probably going to have one thing a week or something that you guys get out there, and then maybe try to offer some other what we'll call extra things that they could do. So yes, Deanna, we're going to work on getting you guys a space and an avenue to be able to start getting back, getting to be involved in this stuff.
Down here, my co-teacher and I have Seesaw all year, but separate accounts. The kids just sign in and out depending on whose class they're in. How will that work? Again, I don't know if you may not have been in when we were doing this, but you need to invite each other into each other's class. And the video that is labeled, it has the title Co-Teachers. That's the video you need to watch that tells you exactly how to do that.
And I just dropped the link in there again. Whoops, I just dropped it in for Deanna though, because I didn't hit everyone again.
Okay.
So there's the link again that takes you to that page, just so that you can find those videos quickly. And the nice thing is you can pause and rewind and everything else. All right, just for the sake of Janelle's time and getting on to answering emails and everything else, I'm gonna say let's cut this one off now. If you guys have other questions, again, feel free to stop in tomorrow or any day next week from 1 to 2. And that link again is on the teachers page. And again, we appreciate everything you're doing. Relax, this is gonna be awesome. I cannot wait to see all the things that you guys come up with as ways to communicate and work with your students remotely. This is our big passion point, so we get excited about getting to use technology. Maybe not under these circumstances, but appreciate also 27 of you still being here to listen to the questions and everything else.
Yeah. Thanks, guys. I appreciate it. Email me if you need help. I don't mind helping. Thank y'all.
Thank you.